Good afternoon, and welcome to our ICC Boot Camp for December 4th, 2014. We'll be underway in just 2 minutes. Thanks for joining us, and as we see members come on board, those of you that are watching this as a recording, glad to have you here as well. Whoever thought we'd be all the way into December already, but here we are. Time marches on, and so do we. We've got some very exciting information to share with you. Had a call earlier today with Eddie, and it's absolutely amazing the genius that Mr. B has. I'm going to just try and remember some tidbits of the call at the end of this webinar that will open up the ability for each and every one of us to do an exchange facility. And it's just getting simpler all the time. So pretty darn exciting. So make sure you watch all of the webinar and catch all the great information as we move through. And as we see folks arrive, we'll be underway in just 1 minute. We're so thankful that we can be here to impart this wonderful knowledge. And it's amazing how I'm starting to get phone calls from members of other work centers wanting to know just what it is we're doing. So the word's getting out that we're on the right track and making progress. So that's pretty darn exciting. So today we have on our weather report, a little overcast and cloudy, probably going to see some rain around 5 o'clock. So if you're not wanting rain, don't bother coming over for the afternoon. And anyway, we'll get started now. So thanks for joining us. Here we are at ICC Boot Camp for December 4th, 2014. We're going to start with the updates, and we do have some wonderful updates in 3 different areas that we'll be covering. So to do that, I'm going to go and share screen, and it seems to be working quite well. All the pages have been showing on the last couple of webinars, and so I'm very excited that they finally got all the bugs worked out of this thing, and it's actually usable and useful. So that's good. So start screen share, present to everyone, and we should be seeing Financial Hope. And so the first thing we're going to look at is our 2014 news. So again, if you haven't been able to see the screen, make sure that you check out your website, legacyassurance.net, and you'll see that we have an update from last night's My Fuel Club Phase 2 overview. It was almost 2 hours long, but it covered the entire gambit of what we're doing. So I would suggest that you spend that hour and a half, hour and 3/4 over the weekend and watch it maybe more than once, because it's got so many subtle nuances that will make you a powerhouse in presenting these new protocols to businesses. And that's really where we're headed. We put up let's let this Christmas change your life protocol. That's going to be covered today as well, but it wasn't available just yet. And then we've got an update here from Mr. Black. So you want to read that. That's pretty interesting. He's got some amazing stuff. And I really urge you to check out the World Global Network Opportunity. It's on the top left-hand toolbar. You can read my story of why I'm doing it. It's got several features in it that really make it worthwhile. I spent $100 a month for a 100-room participant webinar series, and I certainly got no internet. I got no unlimited VoIP calling, no unlimited cell phone calling, none of those things. And yet for this program, I can get for $75 a month, 200 seats in a webinar, and all of the previously mentioned tools: internet, Wi-Fi on my cell or on my computer, anywhere I take it. It's got unlimited VoIP, unlimited cell, and it's got lots of great features. But what really excites me is the new computing system that they have that will just absolutely put us into the 21st century with wearable computers. And that just blew me away. It's the CPU has 8 CPUs in one, and yet it's only the size of a deck of cards, basically 1.5 inches. And it can be put in your pocket, your shirt pocket, your bum bag, your purse, whatever you want. And it has Bluetooth to a pair of glasses. And these glasses have HD screen vision, 40 inches to 420 inches. Oh, it has surround sound, and it has 3 activations. You can use virtual keyboard, you can use hand gestures, and voice commands. And so you can be actually driving your car and have your computer on, and you can see through the screen, but you can see your computer at the same time. You can be doing your exercises, and it'll tell you your heart rate and all kinds of wonderful things. I mean, this thing is absolutely a super space-age computer, and it's called the Space Computer. So I would suggest that you take a look at it, at least say no after you've seen it, but don't say no until you've done that, because you'll probably say yes, like so many people are doing right now. It's opening up in North America. Now, it's 3 years old. It's been proven to do 200 million. It has over 300,000 reps in over 100 countries. And you've never heard of it if you live in North America. And the reason that is because they didn't open up North America. So they're just opening up on December 9th. Now, we have a pre-launch, soft launch occurring right now. So if you live in North America, for $49, you can get started. And then I suggest you upgrade to the $299 protocol, because then that'll upgrade to the $599 program, which is where you really need to be, which is where I am. And so, again, you can check out that information on the upper left-hand toolbar. Watch the videos that are in that email that I sent out, and you'll see everything here. And there's a basic overview with all the neat stuff. There's the link. Now, again, I don't want you to be signing up with me if your sponsor is going to sign up. I want to keep the team intact. And so there's a group of Australians working together that are getting on board. And we've got some folks in North America doing the same. So take a serious look at this thing. And again, it's not to detract from what we're doing with the Internet Catalog Club or My Fuel Club. It's an additional tool. And it's also an opportunity to get new people that you can bring a business to them that's not associated with the Internet Catalog Club or My Fuel Club. And you can develop a relationship with these people based on totally new 21st century technology, and then eventually develop the relationship and wean them into the opportunity to participate in My Fuel Club and the Internet Catalog Club. So that's what I'm using it for. I want the tools. I think that it's just fabulous that we can have all these tools at our fingertips. And when you see what you get for $75 a month, you just can't beat it. I mean, streaming videos, movies, it's going to replace cable TV. What a good thing that will be. So pretty darn exciting. So, all right. So the next thing we want to look at is some updates in what is LHP. So let's move there. And again, LHP is beyond the advertising privileges, is the area of focus that Gary and Eddie are taking. And I hope you will too, because this is where you're going to be able to exchange your Zcash and chips, help a lot of people with their problems, and make a lot of money. And so how do we do that? Well, what was missing, and we just, it was kind of funny, Ben and I were trying to find this information. We know we had talked about it, but it just wasn't there. So down the bottom here is what's been added. When a member of the Internet Catalog Club acquires LHP, the Theta member of that sponsor will be allowed to exchange Zcash equal in value of 25% of the value of the LHP acquired to USD bank deposit funds by submitting a request and obtaining approval from Brightstar Work Center. I really am here to help you, because the center selected by the member that made the acquisition shall also be allowed to exchange Zcash equal in value to 25% of the LHP required to USD bank deposit funds. So I have a vested interest in helping you be successful in doing what it is you want to do within the Internet Catalog Club protocols, doing all these LHP products. So you've got the information here, review it. We're going to go over some LHP examples that have just been added and improved, and let's go ahead and take a look at those. So I'll come over here to employeegold.info examples, and I'm going to do one that we've already done, but I want to start here because I think it's a really neat one to work with. It's called Once Upon a Time. And once upon a time, there was a little boy that promised his mother that when he grew up, he would buy her a pink Corvette. Well, when the little boy grew up, he became a U.S. Marine and then a master plumber, but he died before he could keep his promise. His father wanted to keep his promise for him, but he had no money. How could his father buy a $70,000 USD valued Corvette so as to keep the promise on behalf of his son? Well, the father found out about the LHP oil and gas and derivative products and realized that he could spend just 2,000 USD bank deposit funds on LHP and obtain 6,000 USD in Zcash. He could then exchange the Zcash for 6,000 USD bank deposit funds and accrue 6,000 in chips. He could then exchange the chips for 6,000 USD bank deposit funds and have a total of 12,000 USD into bank deposit funds. He could then use the 12,000 USD in bank deposit funds to acquire more LHP and obtain 36,000 USD in bank deposit funds, plus accrue an equivalent value of chips. He could then exchange the chips for 36,000, now having a total of 72,000 in bank deposit funds. He could put the 2,000 USD back in his pocket and spend 70,000 to buy the Corvette, and on behalf of his son, give it to his wife for Christmas, all with just $2,000. But again, the father had no money at all, so he needed to find a way to obtain the 2,000 USD required to initiate the LHP process. Now, to do that, the father decided to ask Bright Star Work Center to provide him at no cost a silver ICC membership with the Internet Catalog Club on credit. Using that membership, he sponsored 2 businesses that decided to register with Employee Gold, each acquire 15 advertising privileges as per walking billboard advertising shown in chips-corner.com/billboard. As a result, he was awarded 12,000 USD in Zcash. He requested to exchange 1,500 Zcash for 3,000 USD, for which he was also accruing 3,000 USD in the value of chips. He used 2,000 to initiate the LHP process, as described, to obtain the funds to buy the $70,000 Corvette. To continue exchanging Zcash and chips for USD bank deposit funds, he undertook to promote a combination of advertising privileges and LHP purchases to reach his goal. He recommended to people that purchased the advertising privileges and the LHP that they should sponsor others to do the same as to exchange Zcash and chips they receive for USD bank deposit funds. He pointed out, for example, that they could contact firms and present LHP business purchase offset and or SAP consulting with 100% rebate, and have the businesses that accept these proposals to set up Zcash and chips exchange facilities for their own use, allowing their sponsors and him to also use the facilities. He pointed out that Bright Star Work Center could help them do that as he was being helped. What a great model to show people that want to buy something for anything, any size, obviously. All right, so using LHP to benefit customers and increase business. So this is the one you can take to businesses. If you could arrange for a 100% refund or rebate structured as per your jurisdictional laws for purchases that customers make from your business, would you be able to sell more and thus make more profit? Duh, of course. Well, if you acquire LHP valued at 2,000 USD, you can receive 6,000 USD in Zcash. You may exchange the Zcash for 6,000 USD bank deposit funds, and you can receive an additional 6,000 in chips, which you may also exchange for 6,000 USD bank deposit funds. Now that provides you with the recovery of your 2,000 plus gives you 10 grand for you to refund or rebate 100% payments made to you by your customers. Wow. What a neat thing. You know, you could set up a kiosk in your store and say, look, come to the table and you want to buy this new pool table for 12 grand. I'll show you how to get it for $2,000. Note, LHP may not be used simply to provide income to you. It must be used to pass benefits on to customers. Of course, you must have a ready means of exchanging the Zcash and chips for USD bank deposit funds. Brightstar Work Center can help you access and or create Zcash and chips exchange facility. Examples: medical doctors, dentists, hospitals may use LHP to provide care to patients that cannot afford to pay by having them provide payment with promissory notes. Hear that? This is so important. It's all coming together. Provide payment with promissory notes and making payment through LHP recovery of funds. Plus, they can refund or rebate payments made directly by patients or their insurance companies. A travel agency may refund or rebate payments provided by customers. A grocery store or a pharmacy may refund or rebate payments provided by customers. A firm, following the rules and laws of their jurisdiction, establish itself to be a surrogate for other businesses, charge for services rendered in providing refunds or rebates, and use LHP to provide refunds or rebates to customers of the other businesses. So you can become a surrogate and make 100% on the Zcash. When they exchange it, you keep the chips, and you can also charge a fee for that as well. So pretty darn exciting. All right, let's go to Let This Christmas Change Your Life. If you pay $2,000 USD to acquire LHP Video Wholesale, you immediately receive 3,000 Zcash by LHP being resold. Now remember, there's already a willing buyer that buys it from you immediately. So by exchanging the 3,000 Zcash for 6,000 USD bank deposit funds, you would immediately receive the 6,000 in chips, and then you could exchange the 6,000 chips for 6,000 USD bank deposit funds. That process could provide you with 12,000 in bank deposit funds. You would thus have recovered the 2,000 you would use to acquire the LHP Video Wholesale, and you have 10 grand to spare. You could use, for example, 5,000 of those funds to buy an annuity or other savings instrument from any institution you may select for yourself. You could use, for example, 5,000 of those funds to recover expenses you made by giving gifts to others at Christmas. Or you could use this second 5,000 USD to provide cash gift to the Salvation Army or any other charitable organization of your choice. Most likely you think the above or variations you may choose related to it sounds great, but how would you exchange Zcash and chips for USD bank deposit funds? Well, one way is for you to promote the use of LHP to others. When others you sponsor acquire LHP valued at a total of 48,000, you would be able to request an immediate exchange of your Zcash and chips for 12,000 in USD bank deposit funds. And I just showed you that they've now added that 25% availability. Another way is to take advantage of business opportunities number 96, which we've reviewed previous webinars. Another way is to take advantage of number 97. Now we're going to go back over 97 again today because there's some subtle nuances that have just been brought to my attention before this webinar, and I couldn't get them in writing fast enough. Another way for you to contract with someone that has taken advantage of business opportunities is number 96 and 97. As per terms you may negotiate with them, typically such a negotiation would not cost you money, but would require some business to be transacted through your efforts, which could provide you even more USD bank deposit funds. Another way is for you to promote to businesses that they should take advantage of court decisions in USA and begin accepting and using Zcash and chips as digital currency, which is now USD, lawful USA currency. And again, if you go back to the document where we talk about the renminbi and the Chinese yuan, it's legal currency in China, but can you use it in the United States? No. Can you use it anywhere else on the planet? No. But do we buy Chinese products? The stores are full of them. So what's happening? So we've got to go back and look at that protocol. In fact, if you watch the webinar I did last night for my Fuel Club, it's got the whole enchilada in there. Yes, it's an hour and 3/4 long, but it'll give you everything you need to understand where you sit right now as a leader of commerce on planet Earth. Another way for you to find properties that Texas Holdings Inc. can acquire using Zcash. Amazingly enough, I had a gentleman yesterday contact me and said some individual referred him to me that I might be interested in helping him fund his project, which is an old silk mill that's going to be converted into condos. Well, I haven't had a chance to get back to him. I've been so busy, but we did talk. He did send me the URLs, and it's a pretty neat building. If you want to take a look at it, you can go to empiresilkmill.com. And you can see the business plan at empiresilkmill.com/business plan. And so when people are phoning me now, you got to know things are starting to happen. I've put enough seed out there that people are saying, well, your protocol wasn't for me, but now guess what? This guy might be interested in doing it. And the first thing I asked him is, are you open-minded to look at new ways of doing business? And he said, yeah, I'll look at what you've got. That's what we're looking for, is entrepreneurial-minded individuals who are risk takers? No, just open-minded enough to sit down, shut up, and listen to us. That's all we want. And when they see it, they can't say no. It just makes far too much good sense not to proceed. All right, so you can use the Texas Holding to acquire properties as per the Addendum 2 in Gideon's Gate, and you can also use the one that I'm going to present to them, which is double up. You can have Texas Holdings buy your property and give you twice the value for it. Then you can buy it back through a surrogate with somebody who's got Zcash. Another way is for you to introduce businesses to employee gold, through which they can change employee expenses into profits and otherwise improve their cash flow. So, I mean, the three things that I'm focused on are employee gold with advertising privileges, showing our members how to set up walking billboard advertising business. That's the first thing you set up, so that you're supporting the Internet Catalog Club protocols. And it turns out that you see the examples. I had a gentleman yesterday who was from the Calgary Work Center contact me and ask me about the submission that we put up there for my fuel club. And he asked if I was happy, and I spent 45 minutes with him. And I said, go back to your work center, see if they're prepared to help you. And if not, because they may be still recovering from illness, then just know that you could come and work with me. But I'm not here to take anybody's people away from them. I got more than enough work to do, but I certainly don't want anybody that wants help to go unhelped. All right, so the group that's on this call right now, I'm ready, willing, and able to work with you, but you've got to do the study. You've got to know the protocols as well as I do. You got to know where you can find these things. Don't just say, well, send some stuff out to this guy for me so that they'll know what's going on. Well, no, I'm not going to send anything out on your behalf. You tell me what you're going to send out, and I'll tell you whether it's good or not, and you do the work. All right. So, in fact, since digital currency and its use are now spreading like wildfire around the world, geez, Bitcoin is advertising everywhere. Thank goodness that they are doing that, because it just makes our job that much easier, so that the ways to use Zcash and chips are varied as there are businesses in the world. And as strange as it may seem, Clint Eastwood, a not very Christmas-like figure, but a figure of rugged individualism, is symbolic on the extraordinary change that digital currency is bringing to the world. And Zcash and chips have been used for almost 20 years now to profitably engage in business. And so you can go and see this particular one. And let's go take a look at it. There he is. Texas federal magistrate reaffirms ruling that Bitcoin is money. Texas federal magistrate reaffirms that Bitcoin is money. The question of whether Bitcoin can be considered money from both a legal and tax perspective in the United States has been in the news a great deal recently, especially with multiple judges ruling that Bitcoin was indeed money, and the Internal Blasphemous Service seeming to contradict the courts with a stance that deems Bitcoin as property. The latest chapter comes again from Texas and the federal magistrate, Judge Amos Mazant. The case was filed against Bitcoin Savings and Trust founder Trenton T. Shavers, who was accused by federal prosecutors of running a Ponzi scheme using Bitcoin. What a pile of crap. Jeez. Shavers is represented by Franklin Jason Siebert of S.J. Siebert LLC and U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission versus Trenton T. Shavers. See, didn't I tell you? all the Bitcoin users would be hit. We've already been there. We've already done that. We've already won that. You understand how powerful we are with Zcash and chips already being declared legal USA currency? So the SEC is being represented by Jessica McGee. Shavers is being accused by the SEC of using investment money from new investors to pay off interest payments for older investors in what seems to be a classic Ponzi scheme. The charges also claim that Shavers has been transferring investors' money into his own personal day trading accounts. According to the complaint, he was able to collect more than 700,000 Bitcoins worth more than $4 million based on an average value during the company's operations. Shavers' defense is based on two rulings. The first was that the recent IRS ruling that Bitcoin is classified as property for tax purposes, and the second was the Texas Department of Banking in April 2014, allegedly rejecting Bitcoin as money or an enforceable claim in court in April 2014. The defense argues that since Bitcoin is considered property by the IRS and property is not part of current law with respect to Ponzi schemes, then his activities were perfectly legal. Magistrate disagrees, however, saying in order that in 23 places throughout the IRS code, money is referred to as property. In fact, the IRS definition and guidance seems to point the court towards the similarities between money and Bitcoin for federal tax purposes. He also ruled that the Texas Department of Banking ruling only applied to the licensing of money exchangers that did not meet the federal definitions of money exchangers, which is limited to businesses dealing in legal tender. The defense has the option to appeal this decision to a district judge, and after that, it's likely that the case will go to the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans, since there are at least two other similar cases already in federal system. So they're going to pick them off one by one, claim that they're doing the Ponzi thing. What amazing mess this is. In his comments, the judge says, when the judge is saying that the judge determines whether law was violated, in the case of Bitcoin, there is no federal law that specifically mentions Bitcoin, let alone defines it. Lacking Bitcoin federal law, regulatory agencies can then regulate the aspect of Bitcoin that is consistent with the federal law that created that regulatory agency. Therefore, the IRS sees Bitcoin as taxable event, the CFTC as a commodity, the FEC as a campaign donation, and the SEC as an investment, etc. So the SEC regulates investments and securities, and therefore has the authority to prosecute Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes are funded by money, and because this one was funded by Bitcoin, Bitcoin functions like money, and therefore they can prosecute the owners of the Ponzi scheme. And while the IRS has said that Bitcoin meets their definition of property, it hasn't opined on whether it meets the IRS definition of money. That doesn't mean Bitcoin is not money. It just means the IRS is currently silent on the issue. Don't want to open up that can of worms. All right, so pretty interesting stuff going on out there. Anyway, back to where we were at. All right, so please note that the retail sale of LHP videos for Zcash and the registration of chips when Zcash is used or exchanged is guaranteed. So you just know that when you buy it, it's already sold to somebody else. So that's guaranteed. But the use and exchange of Zcash and chips, although many billions of USD are available to be processed for this purpose, are subject to market conditions and the events that may be directed but are not controlled. Therefore, the surest way of using Zcash and chips to expand their use in the general marketplace, this can provide great opportunities to set up businesses that provide what people want and offering products and services in exchange for Zcash and chips and or other digital currencies. So the sooner we create a marketplace where we have people accepting Zcash and chips, and you can now join my Fuel Club with Zcash, chips, BVK. You can upgrade from your smaller to your bigger memberships. So I welcome you to come and work with me in my Fuel Club this year. Coming up, it's going to be an exciting year, and you can all get yourself corporate platinum memberships. And if you got $5,500, go ahead and set yourself up as a corporate platinum and get yourself 500,000 Zcash. We've got 15 positions available for a December promotion. Now, if the business refuses to accept Zcash and chips, you might set up a Zcash and chips exchange facility. Using Business Opportunities 96 or 97, an offer to accept Zcash and chips. Exchange them, buy from the business that does not want to accept them, and provide the products and services to the members of the Internet Catalog Club that request them. This can become highly profitable. Now, this is exactly what they did in Russia and China. All right? Surrogates are involved. That way, for example, you can provide any retail item, including bread and milk and other food, to members in your community. As the title of this says, let this Christmas change your life as well as change the lives of many others that you may associate with. We just got to roll up our sleeves and get to work and get these businesses on board. Show them the vision, show them the value. All right, last but not least in this new line of LHP examples, pay off personal and or business debt of any amount with net zero out-of-pocket funds. Suppose you owe on a student loan, on a mortgage, or on a car loan, or on a business debt. You can use LHP, the business, to pay off these debts. When you acquire LHP wholesale using USD bank deposit funds and leave it on consignment to be resold, you can immediately receive digital currency in the form of Zcash and chips, equal in value to 6 times the LHP wholesale value. You can exchange Zcash and chips equal in value to the amount you used to acquire the LHP by promoting acquisitions of LHP valued at 4 times that amount by others. You can use remaining Zcash and chips equal in value to 5 times the amount you used to acquire the LHP to make payments on debts you personally owe or on debts that your business owes. If your debt contract stipulates the mode of payment, such as a cashier's check or wire transfer, then you must convert Zcash and chips to the mode of payment that is contractually required. Bright Star Work Center can advise you how to gauge the services of an attorney, and we'll be discussing that next, and use the Business Opportunity 96 or 97, or how to contract with someone else that's implemented the protocols 96 and 97 to accomplish the exchange of Zcash and chips to USD bank deposit funds, which may then be exchanged for other modes of currency, even for very large amounts. But if your debt contract does not stipulate the mode of payment, or stipulate payment is to be made with US dollars or with lawful USA currency, check with your attorney, but you may be able to pay directly using Zcash and chips as a mode of payment. And the party receiving the payment may be responsible for converting these to other modes of currency if that party wishes to do so. The reason is that USA federal courts have recognized digital currency as lawful payment means, and the state of California and other USA states have legislatively agreed with the courts. So why pay for debt out of pocket? Why not engage LHP business and use or present Business Opportunities 96 and 97 as a means of satisfying the debt? So have your attorney check it out. Since courts and governments are saying yes to digital currency, why not take advantage of it? All right, so pretty powerful stuff. All right, so the next thing I want to show you is a Word document. So let's go down and get the Word document up. Good news. Actually, we can go and see this over here in Financial Hope. And so we can go to the Exchange Zcash. So we're clicking on Exchange Zcash in legacyassurance.net. Left-hand toolbar, Exchange Zcash. Now, I'm not going to go and read all of this. Yes, I am. Okay, I've got enough time. So this is so very powerful. You've got to internalize this. You've got to be able to spew this out of your being when you're talking to people with confidence. All right, this is the key to successfully educating people, and you talk as an authority. So below, you're going to read several different ways to understand digital currency and the options you have to work with us to make USD bank deposit funds your reality. You'll see additional links at the bottom of the page to further enlighten you. Please contact me as soon as possible. I have an appointment with Wolfgang at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. He has seen the light. He wants to initiate becoming a facilitator. And so this is what's starting to happen. People are taking this serious. They're wanting to get involved. We've got Cerise bringing a bank on board. There's other members that are doing exactly the same thing. Now, this is really something you have to internalize. If you have Chinese money, you can only use it in China. To exchange Chinese money for USD bank deposit funds, you must do so through a process of buying and selling of approved items. Zcash is USD lawful USA currency, but it may only be used within the confines of the business social network known as the Internet Catalog Club. It may be exchanged for USD bank deposit funds only through buying and selling of approved items. So understand that what you just read there basically says we've got a country, China, we've got a worldwide private Internet Catalog Club that work exactly the same way. And yet you see Chinese products in every store you ever go into. Why isn't the Internet Catalog Club in every store we ever go into? Because we have not done our job. All right? So in both instances, most commercial products qualify and financial instruments such as US Treasuries qualify. All right, so there's 3 ways shown here. Promotion of business using LHP, and we've just gone through some examples. Number 2 is establish a Zcash and chips exchange facility by promoting the concept and using as a facilitator. So that's what we're going to talk about Saturday morning. And promote the contracting of parties to place documentary funds guaranteed payable by the bank fetus. These are the 3 methods are the foundation for any other means of exchange that may be formulated through business arrangements. So using these concepts to build Zcash and chips exchange facilities to serve others is in itself a very great business opportunity. So when you watch last night's webinar, you're going to see that it covers all of this and more. All right. Now we go down to a detailed overview that was done on November 21st. I'm sure you've read it, but you've got to understand how powerful this is. We look at the first Amazon, never made any money. They buy high and sell low. That sounds like an exercise in bankruptcy. And yet they're still in business, growing every year. Cisco, well, they have you send in money for your company for $1, then they go ahead and give you $5 worth of credit and you sell it for $10. That's why in 2 to 3 year period, they become one of the most powerful companies. So there's another different way of doing business. And then look at Google. I mean, Google gives their products away for free. How do they make any money? Well, through advertising. So there's 3 different business models of which we all incorporate right here at the Internet Catalog Club. Okay, so study, study, study. Now, I want to come down here, get the meat and potatoes. A major aha moment, a solution for you to consider. In trying to help a member solve his mortgage problem, it dawned on Mr. B that we weren't looking at things that were quite right. This is the overview of that particular aha moment. At this point in time, at least in the USA, there's no question that Zcash and chips are recognized as lawful USD currency. Anyone who is questioning this can review the documentation on the website validating digital currencies. The problem is, though, that banks in the USA don't have any way of dealing with digital currency. Aha! There's a major problem. The reason they don't have a way to do it is because every bank operates on a specific charter. If the bank wants to do something different than what they're already doing, they have to amend their charter. This comes at great risk and a downside. They would have to reapply and the regulatory agency would shut them down and stop whatever it is they're doing. And they would be audited to see if they qualify for the new direction they wish to take. So how many banks are going to do that today? 0, especially with all the investigation for money laundering and fraud that's going on within the banking industry and the slap on the wrist fines that they pay off with fiat currency that they make out of thin air. What a joke. They should all go to jail, but that's another story for another time. The way banks have gotten around that in the past, though, was to arrange corresponding banking relationships with banks that are already doing what they want to be doing. So they just set up an account in their bank and vice versa, just like setting up Pepsi Cola in Russia and China, and Russia and China ship vodka and beer, and they make the profits and pay off the debts with those profits, and they move money to other countries. That's exactly what happens in these arrangements of corresponding banks. So the problem's not with Zcash or chips, the problem is the banks. Well, we always know the problem is with the banks, but it makes it that much more clear as to why they've screwed us over so many times. Well, maybe not, but I would like to hope that that's why. Okay, so very simple way to have it happen. Review the Partners with House Services overview. And so we're going to go there in just a moment. But you all know an attorney or a lawyer that's with the bar, I'm sure. Maybe you don't, but you know somebody who does. Now, your job is to contact them to discuss the above solution for you. Do they have a relationship with a bank or credit union? Do you have a relationship with a bank or credit union? Can you see yourself making contact with these people to see if they can put this together for yourself to create your very own Zcash chips to USD Bank Deposit Funds Exchange facility? You got to do it, or you don't. Now, here's the good news. There's already a corporation that is set up and is being used for this purpose. We already have the attorney in Texas who's on board with that. And he's the partner in the corporation, and they're going to facilitate the first Zcash chips exchange facility. This is being created with a Texas credit union right now. Now, this first Zcash chips exchange facility is for managing co-venture partners and active work center leaders only. So that means you guys are not going to be able to participate, but you're going to at least know it's being done, and that's exciting. And then what we're going to do together is we're going to do it for you and me, because I want to have my own Zcash chips exchange facility. All right, I don't want to always have to be relying on other people. You shouldn't want to either. Now, here's the good news. The Texas attorney is willing to be the attorney of any corporation that he sets up in Texas. He'll charge you approximately $2,000 for the Texas corporation to be set up. He'll be a 20% shareholder. You will be a 20% shareholder, and the other three components are outlined in number 97. So how do you get to participate? Well, there are several ways, all which involve working the ICC protocols and marketing ICC products and services. Everything is negotiable. But here are some examples of what you might do to create your very own Zcash and chips exchange facility. So number one, create your own exchange facility by promoting the sale of 5 LHP purchases at $2,000, totaling 10 grand. Once this is done, make your request to Brightstar Work Center to arrange audience with the Texas attorney to create a Texas corporation. Then you follow number 97. So you can go out and sell the 2,000 times 5 to get the 10 grand, or you can buy it. I don't care which way you go. Mr. B says, we don't want your money, we want your work. So go out and find 5 people who will need a problem solved using LHP. All right? You can't do 5 yourself, then that's fine. Use option 2. Partner with a group of ICC members to promote the sale of 5 LHP purchases. So you get 5 people together and you all go sell 1, or you all go buy 1, totaling 10,000. Then you negotiate with your new partners who will be the director representing your group, as the excerpt from the 97 says, the shareholders shall meet and designate 5 directors to be on the board of directors of the corporation, with 1 director being designated by each shareholder, your group having 1 director position. So you create this corporation, the 5 of you nominate a director, and you're all set to go. And again, in both of these examples, you need to negotiate with Brightstar Work Center your ongoing commitment of LHP sales to acquire a Zcash equivalent of 250 million USD to finish the number 97 protocol. Now, some of you have more than enough Zcash to already do that. And many of you, I would suggest on this call, probably at least 3/4 of you, have more than enough BVK to acquire Zcash credit. All right? So that's what you negotiate with me and Eddie to put these 2 different protocols together. Now, option 3 is what we've got at least 15 people doing right now, creating the walking billboard advertising business for promotion of the San Miguel project and your own Zcash chips and exchange facility. So even though our 2 have been accepted, we haven't got specifically the Zcash CHIPS exchange facility in our employee gold submission. But we have lots of Zcash, and so we can easily do it. All right. I don't say we have the 250 million, but Brightstar Work Center does. So we're in a very good position there. So what do we got to do? Well, there's two options here. You can get started by using advertising privileges at $150 from Brightstar. All right. That's going to be $7,500. You can do it with the folks at House Services. I think it's House that's doing it for $120 or $6,000. Or you can do it for yourself at $175 for $87.50, and you keep $25 times 50. All right. Option 3 may provide all the necessary Zcash that will be required to complete your 97 protocol. Why? Because you can put it in there that you're going to hire a gazillion employees to go ahead and get you the 250 million. It may not, but again, we'll work together at putting it together. So that's another way you can do it, through the sale of advertising privileges. And then option 4 says, again, partner with a group. You can set up a group, set up the corporation, and do your employee gold. You've got several options there. Number 5 says, present your own plan using the sale of ICC products and services to complete Protocol 97. And number 6 says, wait for the ICC leadership to offer their Zcash and CHIPS exchange facility to you with their work requirements. I mean, they're just not going to let you come and exchange. If you're not making sales in AP and LHP, you're going to have a long wait. So please study this and get to work. Help people. We've got valid protocols that people need to hear about, and we've got to be out there telling them. That's what advertising is all about. Now, you'll be charged a percentage, maybe 1 or 2 or 3% of the exchange amount, plus probably the full 100% of your chips for your exchange. That's why I want to have my own exchange facility, so I can get 200% of my money. Now, you'll still be required to promote the sale of ICC products and services to participate. Remember, this is not an investment, so therefore work is required to allow for the exchange to occur. So take control of your ability to exchange your Zcash and chips, turn it into a very lucrative business for yourself, or work will a group of fellow with I gotta change that, with a group of fellow ICC members to help yourselves and or others. It's all up to you and how you want to proceed. Now, great success in all that we're doing. Now, from this, guess what? We've come up with some neat modifications. Having an attorney, having a corporation. Well, we've just realized that we don't have to have an attorney. We don't have to use the Texas attorney and pay them $2,000 to set up a corporation if you already have your own corporation, and if you already have your own attorney. So if you're in Australia and you have a corporation already set up and you're doing business with that corporation, and if you have an attorney that will work with you within that corporation, you can set up number 97, and there'll be some subtle variances that I'll be putting out a paper on very soon. But this is really exciting, because you don't even need to come out of pocket for the sale of the advertising privileges or the LHP. What you can do is you can create a promissory note from your very own corporation, which will be then certified by your attorney of record, and will negotiate the amount, but you can actually have your LHP paid for by a promissory note. Wow, that's huge. So how many of you are running a business right now that you have a corporation? How many governments are out there that are corporations that have attorneys that could set up and create a promissory note, pay for the LHP, put their system into play with the LHP, and have all their debts paid off? What a breakthrough concept. Now, Eddie and I talked about this for about a half an hour. I had some computer challenges and I couldn't find my recording, so I've got to go back and get it all done. But I want to get these points down because it's so simple to do. You just got to have willing participants to do it, but you can use your very own corporation. Now, think of all the companies that are out there. Look at all the car dealers that have these huge expenses in floor planning to keep their inventory. Well, we can eliminate that. Now, there might be a 1% fee depending upon the size of the deal, but they can literally use a promissory note based on their own company with you participating, bringing some value either in Zcash or BVK to validate the 250 million. It's all coming together. This is a powerhouse, folks. This is super exciting that we're making these major strides in putting these exchange facilities together. Once we got this done, do you think we can exchange every other currency out there? We can. You're going to make a fortune on your exchange facility. You want to be focusing on walking billboard advertising with advertising privileges, LHP, and creating your very own Zcash and chips exchange facility. What an awesome, awesome opportunity to do that. So if you've got a company already set up, and I know my Norwegian buddies have a company, Heavy Swell. And so when I talk to those boys, whether they're back from their trip or not, I don't know yet, but Jell's on the call. And so when we talk about their Heavy Swell Corporation, they can use that corporation, and we can use an attorney that hopefully speaks English, and we can actually have them set up to do any one of these protocols and get their walking billboard advertising business set up, which they've already applied for. And then we can set up the number 97 protocol to set up their exchange facility. Jell, you should be doing backflips right now. I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal that you can use a promissory note to pay for your LHP. So let's just say it's $100 million. All right. Well, what is 20% of $100 million that you need to put together? Well, 100 million times 0.2, that's $20 million. Well, you can create a promissory note for $20 million. Well, I know between Jell and Shkonoff, they've got BVK to cover Zcash credit to at least do 20 million. And they can create the promissory note for it to do the 100 million, and now they can do all their projects. Wow! I am so excited. Are you seeing this? It's all coming together. So come and contact me and say, look, how's this going to work for me? I got a corporation. I got an attorney. I got these people in place ready to go. I know some people that want to do this. How many businesses can we go to and show them a way to do this? And what's their look? Let's say it's a floor plan for $100 million for a boat dealership. All right, they got these big yachts, and they need $100 million. Well, they put up 20 million. No, they don't. They create a promissory note for 20 million. And so what does the protocol do? Gives you 5 times value, so they get 120 million. And so they get 120 million. Their floor plan's paid off for the 100 million, and they got 20 million cash. And what did they put out of their pocket? 1% of 100 million. Or it's negotiated. Wow. If you sleep tonight, you just didn't catch what I just said. This is huge, folks. We could talk to every business now about a solution. So I'm going to end the call now. I'm going to get busy reviewing my notes. I'm going to get a document created that will outline this in a little more detail so we can better understand it. And then tomorrow, Eddie and I are going to do a brainstorm on it, and hopefully we'll have Mr. B involved, and we're going to move forward real quick. Now, we ran into a problem for ourselves. We do have Brightstar Holdings International, which is a Vanuatu-based company, but we don't have an attorney in Vanuatu that would help us, and we don't have a bank account in Vanuatu. All right, so there are some things that we have to work out, but certainly I know several of the folks in Australia have companies, have bank accounts, and have attorneys. I know Jell has a company with Shkonoff, and I know that we can probably put this together if they have an attorney. It's huge. How many others? Don, Al, Bruce? Bruce has got a company. Bruce, you should be contacting me. William, you've got a company. So anybody else that's out there listening, you want to be contacting me saying, I've got a company, I've got an attorney, and I've got a bank account, and I've got lots of Zcash, I've got lots of chips. All right? So enough for today. I hope your head's pounding. I mean, you should be super excited. If this don't light your fire, your wood's wet. All right. Well, great success. God bless you all. Thanks for being here. Study, 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 and let's get this thing pumping so we can all have a phenomenal finish in December and a great 2014 exchanging Zcash and chips. God bless you.